Hi, my name is Kenny, and I'm one of the authors of the LAMBS danger.fsm, an AI mod for Arma 3. In this video, I'll be talking about fleeing and the flight mechanisms present in Arma 3 and how we will be modifying these in our own mod. I've set up a small scenario which I'll be playing through a couple of times to demonstrate how it all works. The principle is simple. We have a armored vehicle here and two guys over here, and we'll simply be looking at what their response mechanic is to spotting the armored vehicle. One of the requests we sometimes get is for a specific sort of behavior, perhaps hiding indoors when an armored vehicle approaches, and in fact that's already present in the LAMBS danger.fsm. But there are some core vanilla features as well that is worth exploring to see how and what interacts at what time, pretty much. As usual, I'm doing this rugged and raw, no second takes, so we'll just see how it goes, how it happens. So there we go. That was slow. Now, to start things out, I've added some debug information in the top right corner of the screen. There's T1, T2, that's for each of the troopers. I'm recording what kind of fleeing state they are in, or if they are fleeing or not, and finally what their current command is. Both of these are sort of vanilla settings and features. So if the engine is off, I'm behind a bush, the AI doesn't know I'm here. Turn on the engine and roll a bit forward, and we should quickly see a response. Here we go. They're now in combat mode. They've immediately reacted, and we can see that they're hiding in bush. We can actually see their current command is a move, and they've gone prone. This is the LAMBS danger.fsm doing this. They're going down. However, on the next cycle of the mod, they will start fleeing. And this is one of the, I think, problem areas of Arma. Right now, the only thing we're doing in the LAMBS danger.fsm, I've actually disabled the version 2 features. We can see that they're actually running towards us. This is completely vanilla fleeing behavior. And this forms many of the problems of the Arma 3 AI that we've been trying to sort of mitigate with the LAMBS danger.fsm mod. We just saw them run directly towards us. There's no special indication that they are in fact fleeing. They're running with their weapons ready, just casually running actually towards us. These guys are not, in any case, it's not self-evident that these guys are fleeing. They have a movement command that was probably for hiding in a bush or something, but the fleeing behavior actually overruled it. And once they've moved sufficiently far away, they'll actually stop like this. They're still currently fleeing, but there's nothing there's no way for them to go. So what is happening? Why is this happening? Well, these guys do not have any AT weapons. The tank is a very high threat of a vehicle. They were very close, hence their morale essentially breaks, and they start that fleeing sort of pattern, that fleeing sort of movement pattern. This is all vanilla. It's actually quite powerful, but again, the problem is simply that there is no visualization that this is actually happening. And that's one of the things we're trying to amend with the LAMBS danger.fsm, and even more so with version 2.0. Let me repeat the scenario, but with a twist, like so. So I go, return to them, and I'll make the Trooper 2. I'll make him an AT soldier, like that. And I'll just make sure that I'm invulnerable, because I'm just demonstrating things in any case. So what we should see now is a slightly different type of behavior from them. Now, they might still flee, but they also have a weapon that's actually capable of doing more than scratching the paint of the tank. So let's see what happens now. Here we go, much faster loading for whatever reason, and engine is on. see how quickly. Here we go. They've seen us. They're not fleeing. They're now reacting. Their immediate reaction is hiding in a bush, and we can actually see already on the next cycle, one of the troops has been given an attack command. That's T2. That's the guy with the AT launcher, whereas T1, that's the guy without, he is actually hiding. And we can actually stop here just for a moment. You can see that the arrows that pointed up, this is part of the debug information. Now, Trooper 1 does not have an AT weapon, and he's facing an armored vehicle. So he knows where the armored vehicle is, and now he tries to calculate a spot where he can move and remain in cover. In this case, it's the blue arrow. I'm not sure if that's perfectly working, but I mean, this is a bit of a work in progress. But in any case, T1 doesn't have an AT weapon, and hence he's actually hiding from the tank itself. If there was a building nearby, he might try to prioritize that and instead hide inside a building. We'll actually see that for the next cycle of the test, which I intend to do. For T2's case, he has an AT weapon. He's readied it. He's following the attack pattern. This is actually just vanilla that we've tried to enhance with the LAMBS danger.fsm. So if I unpause it here, we should be seeing him try to hit us with an AT weapon. And there we go. We are, of course, invulnerable and therefore no threat to him. But here's something interesting happens. He's shot once. His weapon is not ready anymore. The group doesn't really have a ready AT weapon, and hence they are now in a fleeing mode yet again. And this is vanilla, of course. There's no animation. There's no nothing, no indication of what's happening. They are just running casually as if nothing special was happening. This is completely indistinguishable from their regular type of running movement, right? And that is a major flaw in Arma 3. The AI is actually much more clever than we might give it credit for. But, well, there we have it. There's another sort of view of that, very short-term, very fast cycles, of course. If the tank was on a greater distance, we might see multiple rounds, but this super high threat vehicle, very close to the AT gunner, when he doesn't have a round loaded, boom, they enter that fleeing mode and will continue fleeing until they find themselves safe. Now, fleeing like that can happen on many other reasons as well. If a unit has been decimated, meaning 1 or 2 survivors, and they're facing a large number of enemies, they will also revert to that sort of fleeing mode. So, but this is part of vanilla. This has actually been part since Operation Flashpoint, and it's a typical example of how the AI in Arma is actually quite good. The real problem it has is just the visualization aspects, and it's something that we're trying to amend on our end as well. What you'll see in the LAMBS danger.fsm version 2.0 is, to the best of our ability, we'll try to adjust the fleeing pattern so it'll move away from you. We'll work with those animations we have to at least give some indication that they're under duress. There'll be things like that. It also bears mentioning that this fleeing pattern must be understood as distinct from being suppressed, and hence is also distinct from the unique status effect, which is called panic in the danger.fsm. Panic is an expression of being suppressed for a long time and a sort of random chance popping up. Suppression makes the AI avoid the areas being suppressed from, movement-wise on a low-level movement code, and it also decreases accuracy. Fleeing is that sort of behavior you're seeing right now. They're refusing to stand and fight and are instead just moving, hopefully away from the enemy, but like we just saw in the first example, sometimes that means moving right through the enemy, which is, quite frankly, a bit silly. That's a very quick assessment or view at how fleeing and flight works, but let's see if we can give you another sort of example of that. So we'll swoop down to our group. We will remake this guy a rifleman, and this time we'll move them down to this cluster of structures. I'll take the tank, put it on a hilltop here, overlooking it but not directly in view, and let's start it again. What I'm trying to demonstrate now is some of the custom behavior that is present in the LAMBS danger.fsm, and in fact they spotted us immediately, so we can see that they have actually reacted. They're moving, they're not fleeing. The tank is not a threat as such, but these guys are trying to hide. And in fact, this happened very quickly. So the leader here, he moved into a building. He saw there's a tank. He knows that they don't have any weapons to deal with it. So he's calling what we call a leader action hide. He's telling his team to, you know, seek cover. And this is the sort of behavior you will see when there's a tank present, or where there's a helicopter flying over above it. They'll actually seek cover like this and really just try to hide. And right now, as you can see, just after a couple of moments, they are actually hidden. They're actually just static here, not concerned about the or not in direct view of the tank anymore. And you'd see the same thing if a jet flew over or a helicopter threatened this town. And that's part of the LAMBS danger AI. We're currently tweaking it a bit. That's why they're still moving around like that. But for LAMBS version 2.0, which is releasing quite soon, you'll see more intelligent behavior for this sort of thing, as well as a somewhat tweaked fleeing interaction. Fully customized animations for fleeing would be nice. There are some present in Arma, but they have some problems in regards to weapons being dropped or floating in the air and things like that, so we cannot just use them right out of the box. Still looking into what we can do. For version 2.0, we'll be happy just to get some more intelligence, some greater level of interaction. So for this third view, had this been vanilla, they would just actually be, they might have gone prone, but they would just be stood exactly where they were dropped. LAMBS danger.fsm, you're actually seeing them move into these buildings and try to remain hidden. This guy is currently cycling quite a bit. He is very close to the blue boxes, so he knows where the enemy is, and he's just refreshing that. That'll actually be better optimized in a future version of the mod. In any case, that's a brief look at flight and fleeing. Thank you for watching.